Nope. I always press the wrong buttons. One of these days, my fingers will finally be like, all right, Control M, Control Shift G, Control Shift X, Shift 1, Control 2. Like, and I won't even mess it up, not even once, but that's not happening today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the quarterfinals of the Monday Premium Go for StarCraft 2 Cup. And this is a best of 3, spawning here in the lower left corner of the map, currently down 1 in this series. Playing for the team Max Flow, it's gonna be Soul. Hey, Soul Sister, Mister. His opponent in the top right. He is red, he is Zerg, he's from Team Liquid, and I kinda, oops, sorry, that was me hitting my mouse because I was waving my hands around. Liquid Snute. I'm really glad I don't use caster cameras. I know people have actually asked us to use them in the past. A long time ago, we decided not to, and that's not going to change anytime soon. And I'm really glad about this because I'm a hand talker, and while you can't see me right now, normally I sit there and I just, like, my hands are flinging in the air. I'm sitting there, like, face palming, getting rage, pointing at the screen, but yeah. So sometimes when I knock the mouse like this, it's totally my fault. But anyways, to start the game off, Snute is going to go for that horizontal spawn. Really, really important he does this, of course, if he wants to decide where that third base goes down. Lucky for him, it is, of course, cross spawn locations. Doesn't know it yet. Oh no. No. For those who don't know what they're talking about right now, basically Soul's saying maybe I should go super mech, and Snute is a player who is used to play against mech. We'll leave it at that. I don't think he's really gonna go mech. Soul's best bet is to go bio. I mean, he played that last game pretty darn well. Just unfortunately, Snute played a little bit better. But if he does go for super mech style, it's totally viable off of a command center first. Always a risky thing to do. Now this is funny. Soul is one of the few people who do this. So I talk a lot about how in 4-player spawn maps, people tend to scout clockwise, and that is the case. I guarantee you, go watch a game and just be like, hey, Rifkin said that thing, let's see if it's true. And usually for some weird coincidence of a reason, like maybe the equator lines up with the region of which they play StarCraft 2, or I don't know, tinfoil hat, people tend to scout clockwise. Soul is one of like 3 people I've ever seen that really goes cross map, and he does it a lot of the time too, not just like once or twice. Oh my god, Snute traps the SCV! What? You can mineral walk to get that SCV out alive, but I guess a little bit slacking there out of Soul. That's actually going to cost him a bit of scouting information, but if he is... Okay, so... Hang on. No second gas. So, real talk here for a second, guys. So probably do orbital, then second gas, and if he is going to go for an actual mech style to this game, it doesn't matter if he scouts his opponent or not, at least not early on. One of the biggest things with mech is you play this really, really irritatingly, turtly, super defensive style of play at the start of the game, and even if you go for roach busts, even if you go for like Nidus Worms, it's so difficult to break a Terran player who does this early on. Of course, that's probably the best time to break them, however, because later on, once they got like a massive amount of Ravens, it becomes pretty much unable to deal with that. Who is messaging me up? I'm busy, aren't I? I am busy, okay. Wait, what? Wait. Oh, don't message me in game to get your name unbanned from chat. How do you even find my... How do you even find me on StarCraft 2? Okay, whatever. Anyways. We'll see if it's going to be mech or not. I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't think Soul's doing it. I'm pretty sure that was just for jokes. But it's always fun to consider. Of course, if anyone watched Pro League last night, you'll know the headaches that come hand in hand with the mech, especially versus Zerg players who know what they're doing. And Snute certainly knows what he's doing. He is one of the few players who can do this style versus Protoss every single time and just somehow, some way seem to make it work. But against, like, let's say a Terran player, it's not quite the same stupid game, but can still draw out pretty easily. I have never, ever in my life seen Frost get mined out, but I gotta be honest, there's kind of a really sadistic, masochistic part of me that's like, I want to see a game where it goes on for so long with such an absurd amount of, like, tanks and swarm hosts that the map finally mines out or something. But Snute taking his third. I'm a little, not exactly surprised, but curious on his choice. Because he's basically secured the base up here. Now, of course, when you're playing against a Terran player, you never really want to take this base, even if they don't spawn horizontally, because they can drop on this cliff pretty easily and it becomes annoying to deal with. But when you do it early on, you get a lot more safe mining out. This base is not exactly a bad one to take either. It's a little more exposed, but big deal. Snute with his Queen Mafia out, though. These Hellions are not touching this base anytime soon. Yeah, the X-Men's just spawning now to put those the Larvan checks in. Jesus, though. 4 queens for some creep spread here on Frost. 2 to the west and 2 to the south. Gonna absolutely allow Snute to get out of control here with his spread. And as we've seen in the previous series that we've cast of him, the previous games from today, he's pretty good at creep spread. Cancels those tumors if anyone didn't catch what just happened there, because of course the Hellions would have picked those off immediately. Trying to grow and cultivate and culture these creep spreaders out. We got speed finished up on these lings, so they can start dancing with the Hellions. There's 6 Hellions down the front line. We got another 2 coming forward and Cloak on the way. With that 3rd command center, this could potentially, possibly be, never mind, not going to be mech. Double engineering base thrown down here for Soul. This is a really large dedication of Hellions early on like this, guys, but this is in lieu of making a lot of Marines or any sort of defense behind this. And Snoot's gonna know this. He's like, wow, you've invested a lot. Either A, you are actually going mech, which I would love if that's what Soul was trying to accomplish here, but B, most likely not gonna be the case. You've just made a lot of Hellions. So much transfuse energy will be available in a moment's time, but unfortunately only 1 queen right now has transfuses after that first one. And obviously for Snoot, his priority is to start spreading creep when and where available. I like the Spore Crawlers coming down. It's not that he necessarily struggled with Banshees in the last game, but of course Cloaked Banshees were giving him a bit of a run for his money this time. Not going to let that happen at all. 4 Spore Crawlers coming down in total, 1 at each base, and this additional 1 to cover the drones as they transfer down here to the 3rd. But yeah, Soul's not looking to move in too much anytime soon. Somewhat limited on what he can do. He knows this as well. He doesn't have Cloak. He doesn't have... Or he does have Cloak, sorry, my bad. But he doesn't have a lot more Hellions behind this. 2 Banshees on the front lines. This is the sort of fight he needs to actually take Queens down. But there's Banelings being made. Something you don't typically see this early, but a great reaction to the Hellions if they can connect. And that's a big if, because Centrifugal Hooks is only not even halfway done. And Banelings, while they might have a slight movement speed on bonus on creep, again, the emphasis on that is kind of the slight portion of it, but Banshee's gonna run right past this base here, the 4th in the north. Whoa! Maybe that's why he delayed it, so he could rhyme it up. Either way, they're gonna be poked back, chased back a little bit. 2 queens on the low ground are waiting for them, and Soul is not gonna get much done with these, sadly. But again, investing in that blue flame, the Hellbat composition that proves out to be so well executed, I guess. Taking his own 3rd. One thing I'm
under attack.
One thing I'm a little bit curious about here for Souls, I'm wondering if he's going to keep investing in the Marauders or go for just pure Hellbats. Sorry, fighting off another yawn here, guys. Not because this is boring, but because it's super. I didn't sleep much, but. Anyways, the point I was going to make off the back of that was, what we saw last game was early on, the Hellbats weren't really soaking the way they're meant to be. I mean, you want to have them soak the Baneling hits, you want to have them soak the Marines you spread behind it. And Soul, to his credit, he was spreading fantastically all throughout Polar Night. But he just didn't have that sort of tanking source until later on when he started getting the Marauders and the Thors out. So I'm wondering if the earlier Marauders are just soak more Banelings early on. If that's the case, I don't like that attitude for just simply having them to soak. If he's looking to do some real damage, or maybe if he was scared of roaches, that makes a little more sense to me. But with so many Blue Flame Hellions, the Marauders this early just don't add that much actual DPS to this army value. Unfortunately, oh god, despite that jet stream of blue, all the Banelings are taken out but 1. A couple more have been made behind us, and of course the Queens are driven back. Does have to be careful though, because again, another engagement looking to be wrapped around here as these units get in some trouble. Marauders should really just be holding position while the Marines spread out, but unfortunately neither of those things are happening. Will still clean his army up though. 3 Mutilates being driven back, but 5 Queens. It's so dumb to consider, but 5 Queens versus an army of units that is this low in health with 32 Lings behind it? It's not going to have any trouble holding off this initial push. 4 Medivacs are going to be certainly annoying, but that's about it for the time being. There's no potency underneath them. The Marines are, I don't know, I felt negligible for the time being. But Blue Flame was revealed, and Snute knows exactly what's coming up. Queens were going to spread some creep, but nope. Realizes the army's still pushing forward. 1-1 versus 1-1. No distinct upgrade advantage, but of course Medivacs is going to make this so difficult for Snute to break with just Queens alone. So now the Lings flood in a little bit afterwards. Some Banelings have finished up. Some Triple Hooks is done. And the Mutalists are focusing down the Medivacs combined with the Queen. So while this army might live to fight another day, the Medivacs have been lost. And those are the crucial part of Soul's army. Now he can't stim. He can't continue to push forward. He might be able to clean up a little bit of creep, but... man, I just... I don't know. Soul's pressing out a lot right now, and I kind of wish he'd just go for drops or something. That's a lot easier to say than it is to execute, mind you. Not only does a Zerg player like Snute have creep spread everywhere, so he'll see drops coming from literally every angle of the map. He'll be quick to respond with his Mutalisks. So, I mean, it's not easy for Soul to get drops in, but when he's pressuring in the middle of the map like that, that's when you want to see a drop go towards the third. That's when you want to see a drop go towards the north, and it doesn't even have to be like a Doom drop. I'm talking like 1 medevac, 8 Marines, get some damage done, some Hellbats hell, whatever you gotta do, but... yeah, let's see what he can get done. More Hellbats being made right now, and he's pushing it again without that soaking force. It's mostly Marines, guys. It's a lot of Marines in this army, no Marauders, a couple of Hellbats. I mean, Hellbats, they kind of work to the same extent that Archons do, where if they get surrounded, they're garbage. Even Lings will take them out. But if they can get some sort of funnel, even in the slightest, it takes 1 volley from each to just absolutely massacre a huge amount of Zerglings. But Snute's going to have to cancel these freshly made creep tumors. Oh, maybe not. He's going to get distracted with the Overlord instead. Mutalisk count is not exactly insane, but up to 26 is really nice to have this early on. 22 Banelings versus 46 Marines. If clumped, Soul loses this fight 9 times out of 10, but if he spreads out, he might be able to get out of here somewhat alive. But Snute's on 4 bases. He may take a 5th soon. He's got the map control for it, but of course that would possibly just a big risk. As we see, those 2 Hellbats alone soak up so many of the Baneling hits. And the danger of Hellbats is, like, you have to hit them. If you, like, some of you guys might be like, well, if the Hellbats are there to soak damage, why doesn't he just run past him? If he does that, then the Hellbats kill, like, all the Banelings on the way, and the Hellbats will still die to the friendly fire, but this is what I was talking about earlier. Getting some drops in while he's distracted with the main army. Now using that drop to distract the Mutalisks backwards. We'll pick up some Banelings here in the middle of the map. Don't like that Snute's going for this engagement. He's got the Baneling count, but as soon as he moves off of creep, this becomes a lot less favorable. Takes out a lot of the Marines, but that was not at all an effective trade, in my opinion, because the Mutalisks were not nearby to pick up the medevacs, not there to clean up the rest of the Marines. Now he finds himself with almost no Banelings available to him. 50 Lings are on the way, but this is not a situation you want to be in. Snute, though, keeping up. We'll see some more Banelings come down. Of course, let's not forget last game, there's almost one point where there was like 70 plus Banelings in the field at a time, but kind of bleeding out as they were hatching. Didn't quite hit that sexy number. We do have some burrow being researched right now, so you bet your ass we're going to see some burrowed Baneling mines when and where applicable, but Soul is, of course, scanning everywhere, and there's some finesse to the Baneling mines, guys. So the number one trick, the number one rule when it comes to Baneling mines is you have to put them in places not on creep, because guaranteed a Terran player is scanning the hell out of creep. He wants to clear all those tumors. He's absolutely going to find your Baneling mines. Another great situation to use them is when you're in full retreat, when it looks like you're already dead and your opponent's like just giving away. He might not see you burrow 2 Banelings as he runs over top of them. Oh man, Snute's actually securing bases towards the south. I really thought he was going to go north with the way he's had control of this game, but says, alright, 1, 2, and 3 bases coming in. I'm just going to take this whole half of the map because you're going to let me. Middle of the map still posturing. Ling's going to try and wrap around to hold these units in place, but unfortunately the Banelings are colliding into a lot of the Marauders, a lot of the Hellbats. They need to connect to the Marines. That Thor falls down though, and while oh my god, he had 13 medevacs. This number is going to be reduced. Snute's saying, here, let me help you out with that supply waste you currently have. 5 medevacs remain, 2 medevacs remain, and one of them only has 1 health, 1 HP hype. Barely gets away alive, but gets out alive. That was the type of engagement Snute really needed. Now bringing the resources lost to almost even, that's how you know a Zerg player's ahead. Now it kind of sounds like an OP thing to say, and it's not a race balance thing, guys. Like, if you come out even, you come out ahead. Like, no, it's just the way Banelings trade out, you have to lose them forever. So you never really come out ahead in a proper engagement unless you're really far ahead. But coming out even is pretty darn good. We got Ultralisks on the way. Adrenal Glands finish up here in just a second's time. 3-3 is, of course, halfway finished for both players. A little bit unsettling in that regard, because what we see out of Terran players most of the time is they'll be on their 3-3 much earlier than Zerg, and that's their advantage to press for about 2 minutes. That's when you shut down the 5th and the 6th base. That's when you try and find a way to do a drop that just devastates your opponent's worker count. But unfortunately for Soul, he's been somewhat limited in what he can do this game. Snute is such a good player. I'm not shocked by this, but still not a situation he necessarily wants to find himself in. Medevac is going to run out of boost energy, unfortunately, in the wrong spot, so can't unload the Marines and loses a full medevac. A couple of turrets isn't going to shut this down, but The Marine Force certainly will. It is worth noting that, again, Marauders have already been incorporated in the army, so the Ultralists are not going to come in here unanswered. Thors are going to be fantastic, not just against the Mutalisks, but also against the Ultralisks. Thors do two things that are really critical when dealing with Ultras, guys. One is they almost create their own SimCity with these big, bulky, chunky mech units. The other thing is they hit so damn hard. Even without a lot of upgrades, 33 times 2 a shot, it's a good way to tear into Ultralists that only have, I say only, 500 health. But in no means do I think Soul's in a good spot, because right now Snute's got a massive bank behind us. He's got this whole southern part of the map under his control, and looks like we got the engagement coming in. Ultras will soak the initial hits for the Banelings to try and get in, but Soul splits like a monster. Is that going to be enough? Thor is going to go down, and now he doesn't have the anti-air he needs for the Mutalisks. A small handful of Marines trying to hold on, but 3 Ultralists and this many Mutalisks will destroy everything. Soul now basically left on 4 bases. Well, more technically like 2, because I believe the main and the natural should be mining out here in a moment's time. It's getting really darn low. Snute, on the other hand, has so much going for him. Oh my god. The Thors are going to be a bit of a problem if he clumps. He's going to retreat. Clumps? Snute, perhaps if he had just spread his units, could have taken that fight a little more effectively, but making more and more Thors. Now, there's a problem that's presented itself, guys. Thors are good against the Mutalisks, and Thors are good against the Ultralisks. The problem is, Snute's been doing, and I sigh because I'm a Terran player. Don't get me wrong. I got nothing against, like, Snute's playing this fantastically well. That's why I'm sighing on behalf of Terran players. But what Snute's been doing is he's been very much so intentionally leaving the Mutalisks behind, making sure they're not on the front lines. He brings them in after the Banelings have collided, after the Ultralists have tried to thin out as many Marines as possible. And we're looking at Soul's vision right now. He sees this coming, but there's not a lot he can do about this is the problem. Level 3 weapon upgrades on the way for Air 2 is going to make these Mutalisks even more potent, trying to fly around the army now. Stimmin to do what he can, and let's not forget, Soul sees this whole thing in the low. Oh no! Okay, hang on. Commander's gonna go down, but I thought he had scouted the lower right. He just simply scouted this base. He has no idea that this is covered in creep, and then he can't take another base. He has no idea that the north is completely creeped up as well. Soul's not taking a 5th this game, guys, and Snute's gonna make damn sure that doesn't happen. If by, oh god, I like the Thors. I love this. I love this. He's gonna try and drop these, get some volleys off, and of course, if he gets caught by Ultra, it's not a problem. He picks up and leaves, but. He's got to be so careful with these crevices. He has to make sure his boost is off cooldown on the medevacs if he tries to do that. If he goes in too early, it's really, really, really dangerous. But surprisingly passive for the time being. Of course, we're just waiting for that big engagement to happen. Both players are maxed out, but the difference is, again, Snute's got about 5.6k minerals, guys, 2k gas. Making a whole army of units is not going to be an issue for him, and that's a lot of Banelings. Oh god, this is like campaign amounts of Banelings. 54 currently available. Will he? Oh, he actually can't go anymore because I guess he's maxed out. But still, Ultralists tentative to engage here in the middle. Do want that Mutalist support, but they're flying around trying to do some harass. Snute has to be super careful with his army positioning. He's got God mode vision right now, but there's 4 Thors that are chasing around in medevacs. 1 or 2 good volleys could end his day. In full retreat, though, is Soul on the other half of the map. He's trying to get to this choke, but even with the Ultralists coming out, or with the Thors coming out of the medevacs, I don't know if this will be enough to hold. There's so many Banelings that he even takes. He throws every Baneling away into the Thors, and it still gets enough fast to kill the SCVs in that middle line. Planetary Fortress goes down!
Monster kill!
And Snute, well, he loses a lot of his ground forces, but this was such a critical base. This one here in the north being driven back too. Mining is everything right now for Soul. Look at his income. Look at his actual physical mineral count. He just doesn't have a lot to deal with this. Transferring SCVs from the natural, going to start long distance mining, mostly because he has to. And Snute is instantly remaxed, guys. He had so much larva injects behind this. He had so many larvae to spare. This wasn't an issue. Ultralists, Banelings, Zerglings, oh my. Let's not forget the count of 26 Mutalisks that still haven't been cleaned up yet this game. Soul knows this is a bit of a desperate move, but it's one he has to try and risk. If he can't get some damage done here, then he's going to lose this game to economy, and he's fully aware of this. Knowing that Snute's creeped up everywhere on the map, doesn't know that Snute has those bottom bases still, but knows the fact that there's creep everywhere means he's not taking another base anytime soon. Now, we do have these units spreading out to try and avoid the Banelings, but in doing so, does kind of lose its way and gives up more ground to these Ultralisks. 4 Ultras and Mutalisks combined with a huge swell of Lings are going to drive this back, and Soul has lost what little army he has left, down to less than 30 supply, well almost, there we go, now less than 30 army supply, making 11 Marines at a time. Even if he cleans up the Ultralisks or the Mutalisks, one or the other, there's no way he can possibly clean up both. Oh, more Bailey's just being thrown down on the front line because Snute can. He can absolutely throw his weight around this game. Up 1-0 in this series. This is looking really good for him to move on to the semifinals. Medevacs are going to be completely picked off here. I don't know what he's hoping to do. It's just Hellbats inside. It's Mutalisk. Good game. I don't know why I did that accent because I believe Soul is Polish, but anyways, Snute will win and go on to the semifinals. Congratulations to him.